Hi, I'm Tim Goodfellow for FF News, and we're here at Money 2020 Europe in Amsterdam. And I'm pleased to be joined by Kirsteen Harrison from Zumo. How are you doing today, Kirsteen?
Really well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a good day. It's good to have you here, Kirsteen. Perhaps for those who aren't familiar, could you give us a brief introduction into your role at Zumo and really a brief history of how you got to this point?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a sustainability advisor to Zumo. I'm a carbon and sustainability specialist by training, but Zumo's a blockchain technology company. So we're UK based and we work with enterprise clients, banks, fintechs, asset managers to help them provide crypto as a service. So we provide the tech infrastructure to enable them to do that. But my role at Zumo focuses very much on crypto decarbonisation. So we've done a lot of work in Zumo on our own net zero journey. And actually, we've been working with clients recently to provide that as part of the service that we provide to them in terms of the crypto offering.
Yeah, that's a really interesting side of it. You've launched a new product at Money 2020, I believe, called Oxygen.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just building on what I was saying before, we have been on our own decarbonisation journey for quite some time, and our clients were increasingly interested in the work that we were doing at Zumo. And so we have launched Oxygen to really commercialise and provide to our clients our solution for decarbonising crypto. So we work with clients to measure their crypto or blockchain electricity consumption, and then we can mitigate that through the procurement of renewable electricity, and then we work with them to report it. So it's a kind of three-step process that we work with them on. But in particular with crypto, because the impact is generally through electricity consumption, we can work with renewable energy procurement to allow them to decarbonise.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And my understanding is you were part of a fireside chat this morning at the conference, talking about all of these topics. Could you maybe give us a brief summary of what you touched on then, but also how important you think it is that decarbonisation is a key part of crypto's growth from now on?
Yeah, so this morning I was talking to Dr. Cathy Mulligan, who led work that the World Economic Forum did on the Crypto Climate Accelerator. So I represented Zumo as part of that accelerator. I was part of the working group that developed the guidance, and so Cathy and I were on stage earlier. We did a session on nurturing a climate-conscious crypto sector. So we were talking about much of the things that we're talking about just now in terms of how we decarbonise crypto and how it needs to be a priority for us as a sector. So that was this morning's chat. In terms of how important it is to decarbonise crypto, I mean, firstly, it's really important that we're here at events like this talking about it, because this isn't a sustainability event as such. There are many, many different topics that are being discussed. So having sustainability as part of this is really, really important to make sure that it's embedded. But in terms of decarbonising crypto, how important that is, all sectors need to fully decarbonise. There is no sector that's exempt from this. And so within crypto, although we've got quite a lot of variation of carbon footprint of different blockchains, different consensus mechanisms, actually the whole sector needs to be able to reach net zero. And our view at Zumo is that because we're a user of electricity, and electricity is the main component of our carbon footprint, actually we have a relatively straightforward job ahead of us compared to other sectors. Not that it's straightforward in itself, but actually technologically it is more straightforward than many other sectors. So that is the premise on which we're working.
Yeah, absolutely. There are options there that you can.
There are options there. We know how to move to renewables. We know that the more renewables we use, the cheaper it becomes to install them for everybody else as well. And we know that there are much harder to decarbonise sectors, things like cement, aviation and shipping, that we need as a world economy to function, but we don't yet have the technology at scale to decarbonise those. So arguably sectors that can move faster need to, and that's what we're trying to do at Zumo.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about that need. What are some of the regulations coming in that make Oxygen, the service you provide, important?
So I think we can split this into two things. You've got the kind of crypto-specific regulation, and then you've got the more generic carbon and sustainability disclosure regulation. So crypto-specific, obviously in Europe, we've got MiCA, and actually in the draft regulation, there is specific text there about the need to disclose the environmental impact of consensus mechanisms. What that will mean in practice, I don't think we quite know yet, but certainly there is clarity there that companies that hold crypto assets will need to do some kind of reporting on the environmental impact. So that's the crypto specific. Perhaps even more interesting though is what's coming down the line at us all from a sustainability disclosures perspective. So within Europe, we have something called CSRD, which is coming from the European Union, but that's going to require sustainability reporting, very, very importantly, alongside financial reporting. So whereas sustainability reporting has traditionally been something that companies can choose to do and it's provided separately, this needs to be reported in audited format alongside financial accounts. And so the way that that will impact us is by meaning we need the data now, we need the methodologies now to know how we are going to get that data, because companies are going to need a while to collect the data, validate it, audit it, and make sure they're happy to report it. So there will be a trickle-down effect from larger companies first, and the impact will then be felt by others that are maybe further down the supply chain.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And do you think that the impact on the climate of crypto and improving that is going to have an impact on its adoption for the kind of end consumer and its popularity as an asset class?
I think it probably will. I think that there is a large amount of public interest in the climate impact of crypto. Whether that's fair is debatable. I think within crypto we have a very easy to measure electricity consumption metric that we can attribute to it, and perhaps that's where a lot of the interest has come from, rather than the fact that it's a lot worse than other sectors. That being said, any sector needs to fully decarbonise, and in crypto we've evolved as a sector at the time when the Paris Agreement has come into effect, when companies are developing these really robust net zero targets. And at the time when net zero targets have really gained traction, so has crypto. So this is the world that we have evolved into. And I think that we need to expect that as a new sector, in a world which is rapidly evolving in that space, there will be particular interest in us. And so as I said before, the opportunities are there for us to do it quickly. And so that's what we're aiming to do through Oxygen and the product that we've developed at Zumo.
Yeah, that's really exciting and hopefully exciting years ahead. So just to wrap up, we're at Money2020. I imagine obviously there's a kind of a focus of your time here, but what are some of the kind of interesting trends and things that maybe you've picked up on, conversations that people are having that really excite you?
So I always have a sustainability eye on at events like this. So what I'm really excited to see is that perhaps there's a bit more integration of sustainability topics than there was before. Certainly in the wider sense, there's a lot in terms of inclusion, diversity, etc. in the talks and things that are here. But there's been a focus on greenwashing, there's been a focus on ESG in general, and there's been quite a lot on climate. So I'm really, really excited to see that development, because what we need is more integration of that into mainstream events rather than just sustainability events.